Hey, Ryan Blaney here, and you're watching William Blackman on YouTube.
This past weekend, we saw an exciting week in motorsports as Formula One raced in Monaco. The IndyCar Series headed out to Indianapolis for the Indy 500, and NASCAR raced at home, the Coca-Cola 600. And there are a lot of big storylines from the weekend, but the biggest takeaway of it all is going to be the feud between drivers Chase Elliott in the 9 car for Hendrick Motorsports and Denny Hamlin in the 11 car for Joe Gibbs Racing. In the race, both cars were somewhat competitive. The 11 car was a tad bit better, and they found themselves racing in mid-pack in the middle of the race, and they were just racing hard off the turns 3 and 4. The 11 car went up a little high, cut off the room for the 9 car, which forced the 9 to go into the wall, and the 9 actually had his steering right. The SMT data shows clearly that there was nothing wrong with the steering, and what he did was turn down and spin the 11 car into the outside retaining wall, which is a big no-no. We saw this last year in Vegas with Bubba Wallace and Kyle Larson, where Kyle Larson forced Bubba Wallace in the 23 car at the time, or was it the 45? I can't remember. But Bubba Wallace, though, and he put Wallace into the wall, and Wallace followed the 5 all the way down to the apron, and he took and turned the 5 car down the straightaway. And the 5 car had a pretty vicious hit, and it also collected Christopher Bell, and which was a side note because Bell was racing in the playoffs, and Wallace didn't only just ruin his race and Larson's race, but he also ruined an allied teammate, Christopher Bell. So regardless of what you're doing, there's always going to be consequences. And Bubba Wallace was suspended for that action for the following weekend in Homestead, where we saw John Hunter Nemechek get the ride. Interesting deal there. But the point is, though, Chase Elliott and what he did today to Denny Hamlin is no different than what Bubba Wallace did to Kyle Larson 1 year ago in Las Vegas. They suspended him. I expect they should do the same to Chase Elliott. But the big thing that's going to hurt Chase Elliott is going to be a waiver if he gets suspended, which I believe he will. We saw a couple of years ago, Johnny Sauter actually get suspended in the Truck Series for this kind of behavior, and he did not get a waiver, and that prevented him from making the playoffs. NASCAR's already given Chase Elliott a medical waiver. Did they give him another waiver? I don't know. I think they're going to be pretty hesitant. I know Chase Elliott is the NASCAR's most popular driver, but these type of things can happen. We saw Kurt Busch retire for the heck of it last year because he got hurt from a concussion because the cars are so dangerous, and they're not like they used to be. It's unsafe to get into these cars nowadays, and you just can't be doing that, especially when you're going down a straightaway in the middle of it. You cannot do that. And Denny Hamlin was very vocal about it, and I'm sure he will be on his Action Detrimental podcast this week. So if you got something open time or available time, if you will, you might want to tune into that whenever it comes out. I'm sure it's going to be tomorrow, Tuesday. So it's going to be a fun one. But though, what do y'all think? Do y'all think Chase Elliott is going to be suspended, or you think he's going to keep going and Denny Hamlin is going to go out the gateway and cause another scene, but this time around will be a Chase Elliott? So put your picks down below. I'll be really curious to read them all and see what y'all think about it, but please like and subscribe.